Senet is honestly a little bit of a hard game to explain, but I'm going to try my best and show you how to do it. And I will say there are a couple scholars that argue back and forth about the rules, but we're just going to go with it because the ancient Egyptians didn't write down the rules. So I'm going to show you via my Senet board how we play this game. Okay, so ignore any shakiness or anything weird you see on my desk. So here is our Senet board. You have two different types of pieces and you kind of figure out which one you would be, and essentially you put them in every other order on this large back line, and what you need to do is figure out who's going to go first. And so what you do is you have these casting sticks, which don't look that interesting. They're just kind of rolled on one end and flat on the other. And what you do is you technically throw them. And depending on what you get, that tells you how many spaces you are allowed to go. So you can also use things like knuckle bones or die, but essentially if there's one flat side up, then you move one square. There's two flat sides up, you move two squares, and so on and so forth. And then if they're all on this side, then you move 5 squares. So at the start of your turn, you will roll your casting sticks. If you roll a 1, 4, or a 5, then you get to roll again. And your turn stops if you hit a 2 or a 3. Now, let's say you're the blue pieces and you hit a 3 and you land on another opponent's piece, you attack them and then swap them so that you continue moving forward while you send your opponent back. Now, you can also use your pieces to block your opponent's pieces. If 2 of your pieces are in a row like this, that means that they cannot get attacked by another person's piece. So this one would not be able to attack either one of those. If you put 3 of your pieces in a row, then none of your opponents are allowed to pass over you until this blockade is broken. One of the crazy rules that I don't see being used in a lot of the board game books or video games is that if your piece cannot move forward, you have to move backward. Now, the main goal of the game is to get all of your pieces off of the board, and it does go in a spiral pattern down this way and then all the way down this way, and then this is considered off the board. The last 4 squares here are extremely important. Square number 26 is known as the Per Nefer, or the beautiful house, and all pieces must land on this square with an exact roll before moving on. Square number 27 is the Per Mu house, which is a danger, and it essentially means house of the water. It's essentially like a trap. If your piece lands here, then you have to move all the way back up to square number 15, called the Per Ankh, or the House of Life. This is essentially like a mummification house because you have died and you are being reborn. The unfortunate thing is if this square is occupied, you have to go all the way back to the beginning. Now, squares number 28 through 30 are perfectly safe, and you cannot get attacked or block on these squares, but you need to roll a perfect number to get off of the board. So those are the main rules for Senet. Let me know if you have any more questions or if you want to see me play a game of it. There are some online versions on Steam that are relatively good, and again, the rules are not totally perfect because there are scholars who argue back and forth of them, and the Egyptians never wrote these things down. So what else am I going to say?